and welcome to Take Two. I'm your host, Chris Edwards, and this is the show where I take a look back at my previous guests on Friday Conversations with Chris Edwards over on IG. Now, this show will focus on seeing where our guests have coming from and where they are right now. Today's guest is no stranger to social media. Help me welcome Sabra Johnson. Hello, Sabra. How you doing?
Hey, Chris. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me back.
Awesome. Yes, it's been about a year. So when this is being recorded, we last met, I believe it was November 25th of 2022. So it's been quite a
Yeah.
while. And I know you've had quite a journey this past year. So what's going
Yeah.
on?
What's not going on?
Uh-oh.
Oh man, there's been a lot. I mean, since we met, I think it was literally the day after Thanksgiving, in 2022. Um,
Yeah.
I think at the time I had about 25,000 followers. I was, kind of teetering around that space. Right, the week after we met, I launched my own website because I'd always wanted to have a blog and just kind of write articles related to style and things like that. Just I don't know, just share my perspective, I guess. So I started that, and then I did this one reel just introducing myself, and then all of a sudden it went to like 40,000 followers within a week, and then by the start of the new year, I was over 100,000 followers. I don't know how that
That's
happened.
so wait, hold up. That's amazing growth because no one really sees that type of growth that fast. That literally happened within like a month and a half.
Yes, I know people. There are people who have strategies, and I literally don't know how it happened. I was just doing my thing. I felt like I was doing my thing, like I always did it, but I don't know if the algorithm showed me some favor or something. But things just kind of blew up from there. And then during the new year, I've been able to establish a few partnerships. One of them was with a company that helped me start my own style box. So it's called My Style and My Brand Style Box, which is a
Okay.
clothing rental subscription. So I have
Okay.
that going on. Okay, I'll hold on. I think you want to ask me some
Yeah,
questions
yeah.
on it.
I don't want to jump
Okay,
ahead too far. What I
okay,
want to do is just kind of step back a little bit because for
okay,
those that don't know who you are, where you're coming from, and how you've gotten to this point, I want to kind of like touch base on in regards to that. Being
okay.
that this is on a different platform now, where we met was on IG, and this is
Yes.
basically on the Indie Soup Network and on YouTube and on their Indie Soup .tv channel. I want people to really understand who you are and how you got to where we are right now. So
Okay.
let's step back a little bit and give us a little backstory for those that don't know you.
So I'm Sabra Johnson. I'm a regular working individual. And I started on IG. I don't know. I had a personal account. Then I I've always been interested in style. So I noticed people posting outfits and just having conversations around style. And I'm like, oh, I'd like to do that. I'd like to share my style and things like that. So I started a style account, and I was in a job I hated at the time. And I think I just needed something, a distraction, some kind of creative outlet. And so I started posting my outfits I don't know about you when you started, but it's a very vulnerable position. It's a very vulnerable space because you're having to build that engagement with other people. Not that I'm trying to build a following, but I want to engage with people. You have to have an open account. If you have an open account, then you're open to foolishness and you're vulnerable, right? And it's a very
Yeah.
it can be very uncomfortable to put yourself out there, but I just was like, okay, let me just do it, right?
Yeah, you know what? You touched on something, and not a lot of people talk about it. That vulnerability and putting yourself out there. People think that, oh, people that are on social media, like they kind of want to be in that space, yes and no. But you have to really be able to say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to allow myself to be on this platform and just
Yes.
let whatever comes my way come my way, and then just and have to deal with it because it's not just all positive feedback and positivity out there.
Yeah.
There are those
Yeah.
that are out there to troll you, to just make those negative comments just so
Yes.
that they can be heard and seen. And it takes a lot. You have to have tough skin to actually do this. When
Yeah.
I decided to do this, I knew what I was getting myself into. And even though you do know what you're getting yourself into, it can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Speak to that a little bit more, because I think people really need to understand what it really means to have an open account, have to be criticized, and to be able to take that.
Mhm. Yeah. So I've always felt, so I believe I'm a confident person. Um, my dad always taught me, very strongly, it doesn't matter if people like you or not. You do your thing. You're this, you're that. He really built me up. So that helped as a foundation, but that does not in any way take away from the I don't want to call it fear, that just that vulnerable feeling of being criticized, right? So, or judged. So, I just started the account, and it was all positive. I didn't really start to get negative stuff till I got bigger, right? So it's like in the early days, it was like fine. So you know what they say, I guess if people are taking shots at you, then you made it. I guess.
I guess.
I don't know, like, now somebody cared to take a shot at you because you were too small before and nobody cared. So, um, yeah, so so anyway, like I was saying, I started this account. I just started to connect with people. But one of the things when I started, I felt like I had good style, right? But I started noticing like some
Amazing
of the other
style.
ladies. Well, when I started noticing some of the other ladies, and I will say my style has evolved because of the connections I've made on Instagram. I noticed a lot of ladies that I follow were buying secondhand, and some of the stuff I was seeing them style these things, and I'm like, "What? You bought that at a thrift store?" And so I started kind of evolving in that way, and I think I just really connected to my true style. So what you see now, it's just out there because this was like pre-pandemic. In the pandemic, I had time to like really study and I was just really getting comfortable with myself, and just at that point I was like, oh, you can't tell, no, I'm doing whatever, however I want. No limits, no shackles. And that's what I use my platform to tell people, especially women in my age group. I'm 51. We came up with a certain, these rules, and this, you don't wear this, you don't do this way. And so my platform is really about wear whatever you want, wear what brings you joy. That's what I would say. I wear what brings me joy. If it don't bring you joy, that's not my problem, because I'm still feeling good. And so that's really what keeps me going.
That's amazing. And I've just loved seeing your growth here on social media, on the platform. One of the things I love is looking especially at people like us, people of color,
Yeah.
making inroads in social media. Because one of the reasons why I started Friday Conversation with Chris Edwards over on IG was to give light and to to us, basically. I
Mhm.
feel as though we've got stories to tell, we've got businesses that need to be promoted, but no one's really doing that. And who am I to do this? But I thought that what, I want to contribute something, and this was my way of contributing, and having you guys come on and talk about your journeys on social media and to push yourselves out there. And I think
Mhm.
that any little bit helps. So if I was able to play any role in that, I'm so happy and I'm so thankful to
Yeah.
at least been able to connect with you, and also just to have these partnerships, these friendships, these social connections. But let's move on. Let's talk about what you've been doing since last year. You kind of alluded to it a little bit, and I want you to
Mhm.
expand on that a little bit and tell people what it is that you're doing and how they can be involved in it.
Yeah. So, like I said, I started a blog. I don't write as much as I wish I was writing. I'd like to put out articles more regularly, but also on my website, there's some of my articles, which really speaks to kind of just your confidence and personal style, my journey. I share things that I believe, they were things that I went through, and I think they would be able to help other folks. So I share that kind of stuff. You can get all my discount codes. I talk about where I shop because that's a question I get all the time. So I have a page now that talks about where I shop, and can link people to those things. I've started a clothing rental style clothing subscription rental service. So it's for anyone, but I think in particular it's for people who may be trying to explore their style, maybe find their style, who, they don't you don't want to invest a lot of money. So it's like $50 a month, and you get two pieces at a time. You can change them out as often as you want. You have the ability to let me just try this out. Let me see if I like this. And I'll have to tell you, I'm not a person that would have signed up for something like this, but obviously, as I have this little business now, I participate in it. And even I, who think, I know my style, I'm truly connected to it. I'll get an item, and I'm like, and these are items that I place, like you place your own items in a virtual closet, so to speak, right? And that's what when they send you things, it comes from that. So I'll put stuff in there, and I received this dress, and I was like, when I started styling it, I was like, oh, so even I'm discovering new things to like, new styles to explore. So it's not, so I say it's for people exploring, but it's for anybody. So even people who think they know their style very well, and it's an opportunity to do that without spending a lot of money. Because if I had to pay $200, I wouldn't have bought that dress. But
Right.
now that I can, let me try it out at home. If I don't like it, I just send it back. They wash it. They send me another item or whatever. So I think that's really cool.
So how did you start this partnership? And, is there a time period you can have the items for before you either send them back or you decide to keep them? Or just talk a little bit about the process and how it works.
Okay. So actually the company, they reached out to me, and they said, is this something
Okay.
you'd be interested in? We think you'd be great for this. And I think even you probably even know, when this business, I guess, of influencing, I don't really like to use that word, but you probably say no more than you say yes. At least I do. I'm very like, I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't, so when I looked at this, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. So, they gave me groupings of styles to choose from. So you kind of choose this package that kind of reflective of things you would wear, and things that, people who follow you would expect to be in your package, right?
Hmm.
And so they reached out to me, and I said, after evaluating it and everything, I said, oh, this is kind of cool. And so they actually take care of all the platform. They're my team behind me that does
Okay.
all the the mailing and all that. I just, I had to get my imagery for my website, because they even set up the website for me. They do all that business. And it's really, like I said, it's a good way to help people connect with their style, or just, and some people are just those people that like to have something new all the time, right? So it's even good for
Yeah.
those people. Like, okay, so literally, like I said, you get two things. You can keep them a week. You can keep them you can keep them 2 months, but you have to send,
Okay.
say, I'm sending those things back to get some more things in. So you can wear it as much or as little as you like. If you want to keep it permanently, you pay a much reduced price. So it's like, for the dress I'm talking about, let's say it was $150 retail. I probably paid like $25 to keep it.
Okay. It's funny. I've seen this trend of basically renting, leasing clothes. I mean, I think leasing has become like the most popular thing
Yeah.
out there now. Instead of, people don't want to buy to own things for years and years. And especially with fashion tends to come in and out. But someone like yourself who really, you don't really follow trends. One of the things I
No.
know I like about you is that you like to look at old pieces, new pieces, eclectic pieces,
Hmm.
and then just kind of start playing with them and putting them together. Talk about
Yes.
how you came, like how your style evolved, and because you
Mhm.
have a very unique looking perspective on what it is you wear.
Yeah. So I think, like I said before, I was always different. I always dressed different from people, like in my office or whatever. My style was always different. But I like to tell people, I still think mentally, I still had some societal shackles. So even though I wore different colors and different things, I was never, if you, let's say, if I'm in a corporate environment, I was never fully corporate stereotype, right? but there were
Yeah.
still shackles, right? I think there were still shackles. I think honestly, when the pandemic hit, and we were doing a lot of what they call style challenges on social media, and they would like say,
Yeah.
oh, mix this with this or wear this, and I'd be, and you just, I'm not going to see anybody, I'm just in my house, right, doing this thing, and I'm just putting stuff together. And I'm like, well, dang, I actually like that. Things I would never have done otherwise. So this is one of the principles, one of the things I tell people, because I do some personal styling here and there. But one of the things I tell people, even if I'm just giving advice, is to play in your closet. Because I get it. You may not want to, people are very nervous about trying a thing and stepping outside, but you can do that in the comfort of your house when nobody sees you. Take a video, take a picture, see how you feel in that thing. And that helped me a lot. I mean, so when I was doing that all through the pandemic, and I didn't have to go to work to an office for 3 years. So I mean, I was just wearing just whatever. All they had to see was this, and
Yeah.
taking pictures and like just experiencing, and it was a freedom. I mean, I had never felt so free. And so when they said come back to the office, I was like, hold up. You can't
Yeah.
put this genie back in the bottle, right? I'm like, well, what are they gonna do? The work is the same. I'm doing the thing. So I just show up, I have a full rainbow pinstripe suit on, whatever the situation is. I'm showing up as
Yeah.
me. And there's no, it is what it is. But you have to, but I understand for a lot of people that takes a grain of, people say bravery, although I think it's sad that you have to be brave to show up as yourself, but it does take that, because people, you're not like the others, right? And people look at you a little, but they get used to it, they get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I want to explore that a little bit. You said you showed up as yourself and people just had to adjust. One of the things, how I came across your page was that, and one of the things I find very unique about your page, and when I say your page, I'm talking about your Instagram social media
Mm-hmm.
feed,
Yes.
is you get dressed in your closet. And
Mm-hmm.
not only you're getting dressed in your closet, what people don't realize is that you're not staging this. A lot of people, what they do is they'll stage and they do this, and then that's not really what they're wearing. What you're doing is very unique. You're physically bringing us in and getting dressed with you, and then you post that, and that's what you wear
Yes.
to work. How did that
Yes.
come about? Tell the story behind how that came about and why you feel it's so important to do that.
So it came about, I think, when they started pushing reels, and I'm like, well, I don't have, my house is it's a 1940s house. It's not light and airy, and I just have the space I have. And I really believe people connect with authenticity. So I'm not going to pretend, I'm not going to stage or something. It is what it is. This is my closet. This is what it looks like. I haven't turned a room into a closet. I would love to. But that's just not my reality, right? So I'm like, this, y'all gonna get this closet. This is what I have. And what I thought, what after I did the first couple, well, what I liked about it, because I still love photos. Photos are I really, honestly, if you were, I prefer photos. But why I think the videos are important, because I can show up in the photo and just be like, here it is. And they're like, oh, that's cute, that's cute. But what I like about the video is people see the process. The process is important, because sometimes you'll put on, here's this top and this pants, and you're like, oh, no. And you give up. I tell people, don't give up too soon. Keep adding a thing, right? And I think the
Hmm.
videos show people the importance of accessory. Like I'm an accessories hound. Like, get you some accessories. You can change the whole trajectory of an outfit with one accessory. If you would have just
Yeah.
stuck with it and added a whatever, or a layer, I love layers. Put this on top of that, and it becomes a whole different experience. So what I do when I get dressed is I may put on a base, and I call the base your pants or your skirt or your thing. I won't give up on it. Like some people just take it off. I'm not giving up on it until I go all the way. And once I get all the way, and I'm like, okay, this not working. But I will say 90% of the time, you come out like, oh, this is fabulous, right? I just just keep adding a thing. Don't give up so quickly. Don't be so dejected. Um, and that's my philosophy when it comes to that.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And I think that's why people can relate to you and why you amassed such a huge following so quickly. To watch you get dressed in your closet, everyone can relate to that because, yes, we all do it every single day, regardless of the fact that if you work from home or you go out.
Yeah.
I can I can see myself in you doing that up to yesterday. I went out and I was just like, all right, I'm standing in my closet trying to figure out, I'm standing and looking at all the different pieces I have. I'm like, all right, well,
Right.
what am I going to put on? I know I want to be dressed a certain way. I want to be warm, but I also want to
Mhm.
be a little bit flexible. And you're throwing these things on. All right, this doesn't work. I'm taking it off. I like this shirt. I'm going to keep it. Let me just find a pair of pants that goes with it.
Exactly.
So people can relate to that, and I think that's why like I said, you amass such a huge following. But I also, you hinted on something, accessorizing. I think people don't realize that adding accessories can really uplift an outfit. It can change it from a 5 to a 15 just like that. You know what I
Listen,
mean?
listen,
It could be
preach.
it could be something as simple as, I mean, it's something as simple as a ring, um, earrings, a chain, a belt, a scarf. It will make you feel completely different. I know
Mhm.
sometimes, even when I'm going out, I don't even start with my clothes. I'm like, you know what? I know I want to wear this ring and this chain and these earrings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wear all gold. Now let me find something to contrast that, and then I
Yeah.
build my outfit around that.
Mhm.
So you don't have to go crazy with trying to think about it, but put a little thought into it. And then also,
Yeah.
as you're doing it, like you said, it will evolve and it will change. Sometimes, and it doesn't have to be a long process of, oh, it took me a half an hour to get dressed.
Mhm.
If you kind of go with it with, I want to start with this, you can be done in like 5, 10 minutes. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is why I think you're so relatable. And I think this is why people love you. And I think this is why people are attracted to what you're doing. And I hope that you don't lose the getting dressed in your closet.
I'm not. Someone said, "Oh, I miss your videos," because at one point I was doing the videos every day, but I just felt like I needed to kind of vary the content a little bit. So some days you'll just get a picture,
Yes.
but the next day I may post the video of me putting that outfit together. So I'll never lose the videos only because like people have told me I learn a lot by watching your videos, and that's like I said, I don't. You notice I don't talk a lot in the videos. I'm just showing you. Like I don't want to talk through the process. I'm more of a okay. Let me show this. Okay, and sometimes I'll show. Oh, this no, this top didn't work. I'll take that off and put that on. So I like to show people I don't call them bloopers. They're just like, this is not what I'm feeling today. This looks
Yeah.
better. But it also shows people, oh, when she chose a top that maybe hit at the hip rather than here, or she tucked it in, like things like that make all the difference. And I just want people to, when they get dressed, to consider that. Like, you know, I don't know, like what would Sabra do? Oh, she might tuck this. Okay. And then because sometimes those small things, they will blow your mind when you're getting
Yeah.
dressed. Like you're like, wow, look what happened when I put a belt on. I believe belts to me is the king queen of accessories. Belt
Well,
or
especially
blazer.
for women. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially for women, I think belts tend to define your figure. You know what I mean? And it depending on how you wear it, do you wear your belt up high? Do you wear it
Yeah.
down low? It changes your silhouette and it makes such a
Mhm.
huge, huge difference. But you touched on something about, changing it up, not posting just videos, not just
Yeah.
posting photos. One of the things that I find, especially, I'm speaking just from experience also, is that
Mhm.
you have to give yourself a break and you have
Yes.
to change it up a little bit because I think one of the things is that people get so locked into what you've done that they only expect you to do that. And when you
Yes.
break out of your that mold that
Oh,
you've
they
created for
mad.
yourself, they are upset. I'm like,
They
people, it's
mad.
not that serious. It's not that serious. I remember.
Wait, look,
Listen,
I got a story to tell you about somebody being
go
mad.
ahead. Go ahead. Go
So,
ahead.
and this it wasn't about it. Well, it is about the content, and it was also about the style, right? So, my style goes from here to here. I'll wear ties. I'll wear fedora. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I wear whatever. If you say it's masculine, that's your business. I don't care. I'm just wearing what brings me joy. So,
Right.
I went to Fashion Week in September. I went to New York for Fashion Week. And when I'm in New York, like, I just feel like my free, like, just free, right? And LA is cool too, but New York is different, right? So I
Very much
planned,
so.
my outfits, and I don't know if you saw my content, but I have these hats from this maker, a black designer, and the company's called Essential, and their hats are not for the shy. Like, if you don't want to be seen, if you're worried about being seen, is what I should say. It's not, you shouldn't wear it to be seen. You should wear it because you love it. But if you don't want to be
Right.
seen, you will not buy one of their hats, right? So I was like, I'm taking my hats to New York, and I wore them like pretty much every day. And there's one that's just striped, and it's tall, and it has this umbrella type brim, and kind of people are like, oh, it looks like Cat in the Hat. Like, I don't know, you think you're insulting me? Yeah, I get it. I get that. And I don't care. Like, like, I'll rock that. So I, posted my videos, my pictures, and I'm gonna tell you, I loved my looks. I loved every one of them. But this woman, she DMs me, and she's like, I've been following you for a while, and you're just changed, and you're just being outrageous now. You're just going for outrageous. I was like, excuse me. I was like, well, if you've been following me for a while, then you know that I don't have any boundaries on my style. I wear what's bringing me joy. And I just said, this is what I love. And if I said, I'm sure there's many other creators whose style will resonate with you. And I think you should go follow them.
Awesome. I applaud you for that. Because here's the thing. The fact that you even have to take time out of your day to respond to something like that. It's a free world. There are millions of content creators out there. If you don't like the content that I'm creating, you don't have to watch it or view it.
Like, you
You
didn't even
can
pay for this
swipe up.
channel. You didn't pay for this channel. I don't have to.
That
My content, you don't get to dictate the content. You're not the director, the
abs-
producer, the studio. I am those things. So I'm aware what
yeah,
I like. And that's
yeah,
and that's my whole thing. I tell people, wear what you love. I'm not gonna wear anything to put on airs. I'm not wearing anything for social media attention. Like, I didn't even get into I got into this because I was bored and hated my job and just wanted to share style. I had no
yeah,
designs on having a large following or anything like that.
yeah. And I think the people that get into this for the passion of it, don't do it because they're looking for a following. They do it because it's something that they love. How I got into this was, I honestly say, it was a fluke. I honestly just wanted to capture looks for myself and record them.
Mhm.
And I figured
Yes.
I would just share them. No big deal. I wasn't expecting to amass any type of thing, but once people started reaching out, I'm like, okay. Then you start to realize the power of social media. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's really not about me posting the content. Because to be honest with you, over the last year and a half, I really don't post that much. I'm not doing what I did when I first got on this platform. I mean,
Right.
I look at social media a little bit differently now. I look at it as, all right, well, what can I do to help others, or
Mm-hmm.
how can I engage with other people? You'll see
Yes.
me, more than anything, posting other people's stuff. Occasionally, I might, repost something that I've done in the past, or
Mm-hmm.
I have friends that are photographers, and sometimes they're like, all right, well, look, I need some content. And I want to photograph
Yeah.
you. I'm like, okay. And typically, there's only one person I have photograph me now, but it's really
Right.
about, those exchange of ideas and just being in the space where you can grow. Because who knew that you could use social media for this to reach other people in the way and manner
Yeah.
in which we are doing it now. You know, so kind of going back to what we were talking about in regards to changing up and having a little bit of variety. I believe that
Mhm.
really is one, the spice of life.
Yes.
And then two, you're a creative individual, and how you're being creative is constantly changing and evolving.
Right.
And that's going to be reflective in your page and your content. So
Mhm.
never be apologetic to anyone. As I always say, be totally unapologetic to who you are
Yes.
and the content that you put out there. You know?
Yes. I just felt like, the audacity. Like how I mean, I don't get it when people just, if you don't like it, just unfollow, keep scrolling, go on about your day. Why do
Yeah.
you like, you literally are like writing me like it's just like, because I'm not doing what you want me to do.
They are insecure and looking for attention. And a lot of times, what I've learned is don't feed into that beast. Every once in
Right.
a while you might want to just kind of, I think you have to say something because
Yes.
either the comments, they require you to say something.
Right.
Because it's one thing to be passive and say, you know what, I'm not going to respond to that. But then there's
Hmm.
also when someone comes at you in a certain way, you have to let them know, like, look, you know
Yes.
what, I'm not going to be disrespected. You are going to respect me, and before I
Yeah.
block you, I'm going to let you know about yourself.
Right. You got
You
to
know?
set your boundaries. It's boundaries. There are boundaries. So
Yeah.
just because I'm out here like one woman, and people that say certain negative things, they actually expect you to not say something. And they get in their feelings when you do. And I don't say something often because what I know intuitively is they're not worth my time. But on some
Yeah.
days I'm just like, oh, you got me. I'm feeling good today. And so today
Yeah.
I'm going to respond. And I'm never like nasty, but they don't like any response that basically says you're out of line. I'm not the pushover you think it's like,
Yeah.
well, if you're gonna be this woman, if you're gonna be on this platform, you should expect, oh, so you feel like you have a right to disrespect me because I'm here. No,
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 ma'am.
it doesn't work like that.
And you know what? The worst thing you could do is when you comment back to them is be kind in the words that you
Mhm.
use because they're not
Yes,
expecting it. What they want that visceral reaction from you, and by you not
exactly,
giving it to them, they're not getting what they want, and then
exactly.
they honestly a lot of times they tend to just they scurry it back down to the
They
rock that
yes,
they
they
came
do
from,
back
and
down
they
into
leave
the
you alone.
stronghold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I've learned about being on social media, and you have to have, as they would say, thick skin to do this because people think that it's so glamorous, and I'm sure you're getting all this free stuff and this and that. I'm like, no, look, this is hard work, and I want
yeah,
people to realize the content that you're creating takes time, it takes effort,
yes,
and a lot of times you're editing stuff before you're putting it up because you don't want to just put up any
yes,
old thing. You want it to look good because
of course.
you have standards for yourself.
Yep.
This is a reflection of you, a reflection of the business that you're creating, and you want people to feel welcome and your space and your page to be inviting. You know.
Mhm.
So, with all that being said, what can we expect from Sabra in 2024? Because 2023 is pretty much over now. I can't
It's a
believe
wrap.
we are.
It's a wrap.
The recording of this
Um,
is December 1st.
yes. So I am um doing a merchandise store. So my brand is called My Style is My Brand. I have a logo and things like that. So I'm setting up a merchandise store for people who they want to have merch. And it's funny, I'll go back to something you said when you were talking about you wanted to start this platform, your platform on IG, you want to interview people, and you're like, well, who am I to do that, right? I feel that way all the time, and it actually, in a lot of times, makes me procrastinate on doing something because I'm always
Mm,
saying, who am I? Like you said, people think, oh, so if you're doing this, you must think you're this and you must think you're that. And it's like, no, but that's not true. I mean, I have confidence in myself, but I don't think I'm
hmm.
that person, right? But
Yeah.
I also do things to push myself. I also know I hear and I see the women who message me. Like you said, you're like, oh, what am I doing for people? I started to feel like, wait, there's a service here that I'm doing, a public service, like people helping people, encouraging them to be themselves, to step out and do their thing, and wear whatever makes them happy, and the hell with whatever anybody else has to say. So all that to say, I'm doing this merchandise store with some trepidation, like, who wants to wear my logo? But if you wear Ralph's, why can't you why can't you wear mine on a t-shirt or
Listen,
whatever, right?
exactly. If you can spend money on Ralph Lauren, on Polo and Tommy Hilfiger and Gucci and Prada, who's to say? I mean, when they started, they were little brands just like this, and who's to say that you
Yeah.
can't grow this into an empire? Have the faith and confidence in yourself to put yourself out there. No one that is
Yes.
successful is meager and shies away from it. You have to
Ex-
have a several level of confidence to do this. And
You're right.
like you said, I was kind of skeptical at first, like, why am I doing this? But then I realized, yes, I'm doing this for a purpose, and I'm not
Yes.
worried about what people are going to say. I'm just going to continue to do this because as long as I can reach one person, touch one person, that's all that matters to me. And you're
You're
reaching
right.
thousands, hundreds of thousands of people,
Yeah.
and you're connecting with them, and they're connecting with you, and that's what's really, really important. So, what else is coming up in 2024?
Okay. So also, in addition to that, and that's mostly like, there's t-shirts and sweatshirts and like a tote bag and stuff like that. But one of my signature things that I wear um, is socks. And so I have a friend she actually owns a shoe company. And we've been talking, and she's like, I want to take you around to some producers, some manufacturers, so you can meet them and start talking about your sock line. So that is something I want to do. It's like something like people have been like, oh, when are you going to start your sock? Like, it's one of those things that people have been looking for me to do. Like, they expect that. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like, why would anybody buy my socks? Well, why not? Like, I can make the
Why
socks that I
not?
want to wear, right? People were like, you made me love socks, because at some point somebody told grown women, they can't wear socks, they can only wear pantyhose. No, I can wear socks. So, um, go ahead, Chris. You're going to say something.
No, my question is, are those socks going to be unisex?
They will be, because men tend to get a lot more use out of, because women, like I said, some of them are just coming around to the sock game because I'm showing socks all the time. And so, yes, thank you for that question. The answer to that is going to be yes. So that's something
Okay.
I'm looking to do. So we're supposed to go visit some factories in January, February. So I'm looking forward to that. So I don't know, that's an unknown. I don't know what that's going to take of me, but I'm excited about the possibilities. And like you said, the thing about, like we were saying, have the confidence in yourself. I think for me, what drives me is I would be really sad if I didn't try it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what if I had actually tried that? Even
Yeah.
if nothing else, did I have a lot of fun? Like I just want to try these kind of things.
My thing is, like, honestly, what do you have to lose? If you
Nothing.
don't try, you'll never know. And if you
Exactly.
do and it doesn't work out, it's like, okay, I tried it though, and it
Yeah.
wasn't meant to be. Listen to me. I'm looking forward to wearing some Sabra socks in 2024. So when those come out, you have to make sure you let me know because I'm a sock lover. I have a drawer. I have two drawers full of socks. And the unfortunate thing is I don't go out as much as I used to because I work from home. But when
Yeah.
I do go out, I make it an experience, and I love like mixing
Yes.
patterns, especially like when it comes to socks. Like I'll have on like a paisley shirt and some straight, flat colored
Mhm.
pants, but then I pull up my pants and you see like striped socks that are different color. Like there's something fun about it. It
It's
expresses
fun. Yeah.
yourself. And
Exactly. And
who could
so
have thought you could have fun with your feet?
I never thought, socks would be. I mean, obviously there's a number of things that I wear, glasses and things like that, but I think the socks are like just quite a unique thing that does set me apart from a lot of folks because like I said, a lot of grown women aren't wearing socks. It's the socks with the pumps, and oh, who does that? One woman asked me, "Where is it that you live that's what people do?" I was like, "I live in my world, and I said, there's not people around me that do this, but it's what I like." And she's like,
Okay.
oh, but that you felt like I had to get permission from someone else to make it okay for me to wear this style. It was pretty comical to me.
Well, listen, Sabra, this has been amazing. I want to get two things from you before we
Yes.
go. Any parting words of wisdom, and then also let me know or let the people know where they can reach you on social
Okay.
media and your website.
Okay. My parting words and will always be wear whatever brings you joy. When you get dressed every day. So I say that's how I start my day with joy. Some people say, oh, I do a prayer or that's a spiritual thing. I'm talking about like that. What I get in there that makes me face the day like, I put this on. I'm not gonna wear something that just I got dressed and I'm going to work or no. I want to put something on. It's like, oh man, this is fantastic. And that's how I feel when I get dressed. Um, Pursue that feeling. That's what I would tell everyone. You can find me. My website is www.mystyleismybrand.com. My Style Box subscription service is mystyleismybrandstylebox.com. And on social media, I am My Style Is My Brand. It's all about the branding. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, because my
Yep.
husband is pushing me to start my own YouTube channel. So I had already secured the My Style Is My Brand YouTube name. So I will be doing, he wants me to just post the same content. I want to do something a little different. I'm just working on what that is. There'll probably be shorts, not long form things. Because like you said, all of this is work. All of this is a lot of
Yeah.
work. And I do still have a regular job.
Yeah.
So that's where folks can find me. And, it probably will be mid-year next year, unless my husband has his way and it's like January that I'm on YouTube.
Well, Sabra, this has been such an enlightening and joyful conversation. I love speaking with you, and you're such a beautiful person. And I'm so glad that you said yes to doing this with me. Thank
Absolutely.
you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, for those that are watching on YouTube, all her information will be listed below in the description box. And again, thank you so much for doing this with me. Join me next week when I have another look back at another guest, and we'll, chop it up again. So until next time, everybody, have a great week. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching this show on Indie Soup Media. Now, if you're watching here on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and hit the notification button so that you can get notified when we drop new videos every week. See you guys next time.